Yeah, read the questions.
And I kind of got lost. I mean, there so many came in. Sorry. I got lost up in examples of reviewing. So it's on, oh, you got that, the PowerPoint. If you grade the FRQs, do you have students grade their own using the rubric? Yes, you talked about that. You mentioned answering the non-math part. Did you answer that one already? You mentioned answering the non-math part of the math question first. If they answer.
Okay. I did not answer this question, so go ahead and read that to me.
You mentioned answering the non-math part of the math question first. For example, in the previous question, it was Roman numeral 4. If they answer this first, out of order, is this a problem?
No, as long as it's labeled number 4, then they can do it first. It does not matter. We understand that they labeled it 4, they're answering 4 first, and then maybe they'll go and answer 3 next, and then 1. It doesn't matter as long as it's labeled.
Okay, and then you did answer about the design and experiment.
I answered that one.
Yeah, if students answer the questions out of order, can they just start with number 4 in the book, or do they have to leave a space for the other 3?
Okay, the book is going to have question number 1 written out, typed out, and then lines and lines and lines and lines and lines in the book, and then it'll say question 2. So if they're going to answer question 4 first, they're going to need to flip through the booklet until they find question 4, which obviously is going to be at the end. And then answer that in the space for question 4. And then if they want to go to question 1 next, then flip back to the front, find question 1, read it, and answer it that way. So they want to answer question 4 in question 4's place, in question 4's line, paper, spot in the test booklet. I hope that explained it.
Right. I mean, and that does seem pretty straightforward how the book is designed, the answer. What scores do your students now earn using these suggestions?
Well, I have 91 students passed the exam last year. Most of them with 4s. For some reason, I have a lot of 4s. My average, so I'd have to go get out my school report again to give exactly, but 91 out of, I think, the 105 or 104 that signed up to take it, because at my school it's not, got college credit, 3s, 4s, and 5s. I had like 40-something or almost 50 4s, 15 5s, and the rest were 3s, and then whatever didn't pass, there was like a handful that didn't.
And do you have any prerequisites or requirements or threshold to take the course?
No. In our school, they want them to be juniors and seniors just because of the master's scheduling issues. And so they should have had biology and chemistry and physics, but there's not a prereq according to the college board at all. It's just the way our school puts the way I'm in Texas, so the way Texas has the order is the prerequisites the kids are coming in from having already taken those courses, but it's not mandatory.
Okay.
A lot of teachers around the nation are teaching it to freshmen.
Yes, I've seen that data. That is remarkable. Pictures and diagrams, how are they graded?
They're going to need to give me more information. Are they saying that the kid is going to make a diagram?
Right. In their answer, my interpretation of this is in the answer booklet. If a student draws a picture or a diagram, how is that graded?
I would say I haven't seen a diagram that isn't also explained. I really don't see a lot of diagrams. But my guess would, I can't think of a diagram that would adequately describe or explain something. They're probably going, and it's not going to be in a complete sentence, so they're probably going to need to write words out. But that's not something we normally see. If it's a diagram or a picture, it's usually somebody doodling and not answering the question.
Okay. Like if they drew the water cycle, or they drew, I can't think of anything else that.
Yeah, I don't think they would be asked to do that. I would tell my kids to write it out. I think that you'd be safer.
How can I help my students do better on the math, especially the energy questions when I'm not very good with?
Well, yeah, that's a tough question too. What I would say, if you're going to give them release math questions, is just study the rubric really hard, because it spells it out exactly how the math is supposed to be done so that you're ready to teach to the kids. But the other thing about that is I don't do a whole lot of math in my class. They have to get one math FRQ in 9 weeks, and that's it. Because really, once you add it all up, it's not a huge part of the test, and I would rather them get practice doing other things. If you take away the math question, out of 40 FRQ points, the actual math is probably going to be about 6 of the 40 points. So if you can't do the math and you're stressed about teaching it, I would suggest look over the rubrics, teach it that way by following the rubrics, and then not to worry about it because it's not that huge of a bunch of points.
Okay. Can you speak to the changes that are slated to take place in the APES curriculum?
Are they talking about the redesign?
I think they are, which, if you haven't talked with Andy, he was on the CDAC committee.
Okay. No, I was just on a conference call with the College Board this week, so I know the answer to that. The APES is on the back burner. So right now they're still trying to figure out biology, and then they're going to go on to chemistry and physics. We're last. They don't even have a timeline yet for when we're going to be redesigned. So they don't know. But it's not and biology took a whole lot longer to redesign than they expected.
And chemistry's next, right?
I think chemistry's next, I believe. That's physics, one of the physics is, or maybe, I can't remember which one's next, but I know for sure we're last. So my guess is it's going to be at least 5 years, would be my guess.
Any guesses on topics for this year?
Okay. Again, not on the test development committee. It seems in the last 5 years, we have had a global warming or an ozone depletion question or parts of questions on every single FRQ. In fact, last year you could almost find global warming on all 4 FRQs if you kind of looked and said, well, that's really not saying global warming, but that's what they're talking about. So that one I would definitely cover. That's why I did that webinar last time, because that's always a fair. We did have a graph on question number 4 last year, so that may mean that we're not going to get a graph this year. If you look historically, it seems to be every other year, but that is not set in stone. That would just be my guess. Otherwise, your guess is as good as mine. That's another unfortunate about our subject. Some of the other subjects know, like physics knows there's always going to be a whatever kind of question. There's always going to be a whatever kind of question. We don't have that. Ours can come from anywhere. And sometimes I'm very shocked as to something that is so, like, such a little part of our curriculum, and then, whoa, they ask an entire FRQ about it, but that's just the nature of the beast.